Hey everyone, Cherry here. Today I am presenting to you week 1 of a new league called the National Pokemon Association. In this league, I had first overall pick, which I used to pick up Fluttermane, a Paradox Pokemon with a base 135 special attack and speed stat, respectively. The rest of my draft is as shown on the screen before you. This team has 3 terrestrialized captains, being Dragonite, Crocodile, and Poltegeist. Poltegeist had a huge role in the outcome of this game, and I will get into that in a moment. My week 1 matchup is against Bloud and the Palatown Palafins. Ironically, they drafted round 1 Palafin, and as you can see from the matchup in front of you, Palafin is a huge threat to my team that my team generally could not check defensively. My biggest concern was Banded Jet Punch with sub bulk up following close behind. They also have an Iron Treads, which is a great soft check to Fluttermane. With the Assault Vest, Iron Treads gets 3-hit KO'd by offensive Fluttermane Mystical Fire, which is the only attack Fluttermane gets that hits Iron Treads super effectively. The 6 Pokemon I thought would lead me to victory in this matchup were Fluttermane, Dragonite, Orthworm, Pawmont, Salazzle, and Poltegeist, with my Tera captains being Tera Normal Dragonite and Tera Water Poltegeist. Tera Normal Dragonite is pretty standard right now in the current meta, with its access to Extreme Speed, a base 80 normal type move that has one of, if not the, highest priority bracket in the game, Dragon Dance, a status that raises your attack and speed by 1 stage, and Multiscale, which allows Dragonite at 100% health to take less damage from any attacking move. Dragonite in most cases can set up a Dragon Dance and terrestrialize to gain access to stab boosted Extreme Speed, which deals a lot of damage to any typing that does not resist or is not immune, which is Ghost. Tera Water Poltegeist, however, is in my opinion my best Palafin soft check. Poltegeist gets access to the ability Weak Armor, which lowers your defense by 1 stage and raises your speed by 2 stages whenever you are hit by a physical attack. This paired with Poltegeist's access to Will-O-Wisp, a status move that burns the target and halves their attack stat, and Strength Sap, another status move that heals your health based off of the opponent's attack stat. This pair with Tera Water, which resists water moves, can essentially eliminate one of Palafin's main ways in dealing huge damage. This not only helped me defensively deal with Palafin, but it also defensively checks Weavile, Tinkaton, Gallade in certain scenarios, Iron Treads. Actually, it pretty much checks all of the physical attackers on Bloud's roster. With access to Tera Blast, a move that changes type depending on your Tera typing, Stab Water Tera Blast super effectively hits Rotom, one of the Pokemon that is important in this matchup for Bloud. When I got to team preview, I immediately noticed that Iron Treads and Weavile were not there. They were replaced by Gallade and Arboliva. This meant that Bloud had all 3 of his Tera captains on his team, which could be problematic. This, however, made things easier when it came to Fluttermane's breaking potential and potentially getting in a position for the Dragonite endgame. I opted to lead Poltegeist, predicting a Palafin flip turn lead, but instead they led Tinkaton. Now I didn't want to immediately lose my Rocky Helmet, which allows the target to take 1/8 of their max HP whenever you hit them with a physical attack, so I had to basically pick an item sack. I felt as though Black Sludge would be nice on Salazzle, but it isn't necessary, so I switched into Salazzle to take the knockoff. This put me in a great position because I could do a number of things. I could substitute, which if they switch out I get positioning, Toxic on a Rotom prediction, or just Flamethrower for damage. I opted to Flamethrower on the Rotom switch and it took around 10 to 15%. I Toxic the Rotom as it clicks the Volt switch and kills my Salazzle, which is not the greatest, but I do gain the momentum on the play. I felt as though Pawmont was too aggressive as this was just the early game. They go back into Tinkaton and on that I go into Orthworm. I proceed to Body Press as they pivot into Arboliva and reveal that they are Choppleberry. Even with the berry, they took around 30%, which told me they weren't really physically defensive. I noticed that Arboliva does not have anything in its move pool that does a lot of damage to Orthworm. So I opted to Shed Tail, proc my Citrus Berry, which heals 25% of your maximum HP when you hit 50%, and pivot into Fluttermane, predicting a passive play such as Leech Seed. Or to scout for a potential Tera Fire Arboliva Tera Blast, which would end up hitting my Orthworm super effectively. They end up going for Energy Ball, and due to the terrain, it breaks my sub. I use Mystical Fire, lowering its special attack as they proceed to attack me back and not do too much damage. They then make an aggressive switch into Palafin, on my second mystical fire, which led me to not have a choice but to go into Poltergeist as they double back into our Bolivar. Praying they don't Tera Fire, I go into Earthworm, and due to their choice of not terrestrializing our Bolivar, I body press the following turn and kill. They go into their now hero form Palafin, and I make the aggressive into my Poltergeist as they click Bulk Up, which gave them a free +1 in their attack and defense. I EV'd Poltergeist to always live a banded Jet Punch, so when they Jet Punched, I lived, got my weak armor boost, and burned them with Will-O-Wisp. I outsped due to the weak armor speed boost, and Strength Sap to punish a potential bulk up, which is what they opted to use that turn. They switched into their Poison Rotom on my Hex, which does double damage when the target is status. With Rotom now gone, they opted to go into Tinkaton, which I proceed to Will-O-Wisp, Strength Sap, and Hex to death. With Poltergeist's job being pretty much complete, when Gallade comes in, I Will-O-Wisp on the off chance they do not have Shadow Sneak, which has +1 priority and will outspeed me. They terrestrialize into a ghost type and proceed to Shadow Sneak and finally kill Poltergeist. With a lot of their team gone and Palafin being burned, I pivot Palma to try and get some chip on Gallade so Dragonite can be in a position to win. After Palma dies, I pivot Dragonite, Dragon Dance 2 times, and proceed to use Terrestrialized Normal to extreme speed the rest of the Pokemon remaining. The game goes to timer, and due to timer rules, I win the game 3-1 instead of 3-0, which it is week 1, so it's not that big of a deal at all. Poltergeist played a huge role in this game, crippling and killing half of the team without needing to terrestrialize, which still kept the Dragonite endgame alive. So with that, that is week 1 of the MPA. I hope you all enjoyed. If you guys like this format of uploading, please be sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. Thank you all for all of your support in 2022, and let's keep this streak going in 2023. Much love to you all, and I hope all of you have a fantastic day. Bye!